I noticed when I was in Florida that the people down there are all into exercising, so I joined an aerobics class. For 45 minutes I would jump up and down, I would twist, I would turn, I would bend. By the time I got my leotards on, the class was over. He was born on the Lower East Side of New York, and he grew up in the Little Italy section of New York. And he was known affectionately as the Schnozzola. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Jimmy Durante.
Ink, I think it is, I dig it do, I dig it do. Oh, what a tune for crooning. Now, ink, I think it is, I dig it do, I think it is. They got the whole world spooning. I'd like to do one of my favorite kinds of music. I call it Durante's Ragtime. Good night. It's time to say good night. Good night. Good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. Yeah.
When you're in vaudeville, you get to meet a lot of people. And I got to meet a fellow who would ultimately become my best friend. He grew up in the Lower East Side of Waukegan, Illinois. And he was the cheapest person I ever met. He was so cheap, he had a $5 bill in his wallet for so long that when he finally took it out, Lincoln's eyes were bloodshot. He was so cheap that when he went out with a girl, instead of buying her flowers, he would buy her seeds. He was 39 years old for 49 years. He was my best friend, a great entertainer, a man who could stand up in front of an audience, do nothing, and get millions of laughs. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Benny.
Well, right now, I talked to Robert, and he said that most of you, when you bought your tickets, wanted to know if I was going to play my violin. And then he said most of them bought their tickets anyway. So right now, I'd like to play my theme song, Love in Blue. Make a gypsy cry.
He was born on the Lower East Side of Indiana. And he was very unique because, unlike most of the acts, he kept developing one character after the other and after the other. And late in his career, he became quite a renowned artist. I want to bring to the stage my very good friend, Mr. Red Skelton.
Oh, talking about airplanes. You hear about Gertrude and Heathcliff, you know, the two seagulls? They're flying along over Bismo Beach. See? All of a sudden, a jet airplane went by. See? Gertrude says, "Wow, did you see that?" Heathcliff said, "I most certainly did." She said, "Well, why don't you fly like that?" He said, "I would if my tail was on fire." Thank you very much. You're such a wonderful audience. You know, my purpose in life as a clown is to bring joy to people's hearts and a smile to their lips. And in the next few days or weeks, should you be feeling sad or low and you think of something I may have said or done tonight and it brings joy to your heart and a smile to your lips, then my purpose in life as a clown will have been fulfilled.
The most difficult thing about acting is if you have to laugh or cry in a scene. If the director asked me to cry in a scene, I would think about my sex life. If you wanted me to laugh in a scene, I would think about my sex life. Now I must be a great actor. The other day I stepped out of the shower, I looked in the mirror and laughed and cried at the same time. I've had the privilege of working with some of the greatest entertainers of all time. One of them was born on the Lower East Side of London. And he grew up in Cleveland and started off as a song and dance man. And he had a nice little act. He would get on the stage, look at the audience, and then go off to the nearest war front to entertain the troops. One of the great entertainers of all time, my good friend, Mr. Bob Hope.
You know, a lot of people want to know if Crosby and I still play golf together. Let me put it this way. When you play with somebody that's a real poor sport, they kick the ball in the hole when you're not looking, they don't write down all their strokes, and if they lose, they lay right down on the green and throw a temper tantrum right on the course. Would you play with anybody like that? Neither will Crosby. Yes, thanks for the memory. For candlelight and wine. Castles on the Rhine, the Parthenon and moments on the Hudson River line. I thank you so much. Yes, thanks for the memory. And even when I'm old and gray, I'm gonna feel the way I do today, 'cause you make me feel so young.
You make me feel so young, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
My good friend Bob Hope. Ladies and gentlemen,